What's up, everyone? In today's video, I want to talk about the state of deadlock tournaments and where I think they are right now, and where I think they're going to be in maybe a couple months, maybe a year. So, the first thing I want to say is that the tournaments came out strong. They were often. There were a couple tournaments a week. There was Grit and Glory, Deadlock Fight Night, which is the biggest one was Deadlock Fight Night. And if you followed America's version of it, Hydra Nation won like every. I think they did. I think they have one every week, maybe outside of like one or two. But I think that is part of the reason as to why the tournaments have fallen off in America a little bit, and I think Europe as well. But I don't truly know. But what I'm saying is like they came out with such a strong start of tournaments. There were a bunch of tournaments, and there were a lot of teams playing in them. Obviously, they didn't all make it to the end, but it was entertaining. It was interesting to see Deadlock at the highest level, where people trying their best in a very extremely coordinated environment. And so I really enjoyed watching tournaments. I thought it was one of the best ways to get better was I would watch Deathy with no because he didn't mute his communications. Like he most of the Deadlock, that's what I'm going to talk about too, is how the Deadlock content, not the content creators, but like they will stream, the tournament players will stream themselves playing with no comms. Like, it's a pre-alpha. Why are we hiding that? Like, I think that's part of the reason that the game is not, the tournaments aren't what they are, is because the viewership is horrible. Like, one of the reasons that Clicks is so big in Fortnite is you can watch him play tournaments with his full comms with his team. Like, seeing the game at the highest level, like in that raw form, is extremely interesting to people like me, and I know I'm not alone in that thinking. So that is part of the reason I think tournaments aren't doing as well as they should be, is that there's no comms. Like, if you want to watch the best team in the world, in America, Hydra Nation, you have to watch them play the game with no communication, and like I don't like that. It's the equivalent of like, if I wanted to watch a replay, I could just hop in the replay and watch it. But, you know, I think that will change eventually, hopefully. I think they might learn their lesson a little bit. We'll see, though. Because I think even for them, like, they're not playing for a ton of money. They would make more money on the viewership of the tournament than winning the tournament. They just wanted to be the best team, so what can you do? But another thing I want to talk about is how the meta was a little bit boring, because it's a heavy tank meta. When what that means is you build a lot of bruising characters that can take a bunch of damage and do a lot of damage. And there's been a lot of Shiv meta problems. If you have followed tournaments from the beginning, there's been multiple iterations of Shiv where he's just been so tanky and does so much damage that, like, alright, we lost. We didn't ban Shiv, so we lost. But I think that's one of the best things about tournaments is the ban system, and I think that's something they need to introduce to the game, but there's just not really enough characters yet, and so, like, eventually they will, but as of right now, there's no ban system. But a ban system would be very intriguing. I would ban Vindicta every game. But yeah, the meta was kind of, there were some games where it's like, alright, they have a better composition than the other team, purely based on meta. They're just going to walk over them, and if they win lane, like, a lot of games, or most tournament games, get decided in who wins lane. Like, if you win all of your lanes, and they don't get a single tower, and you have all of them, good coordinated teams will never let you win. Like, in pubs, or like ranked now, I don't even know. But like in pubs, you can get every tower and not lose any of yours, and then they just eventually will just start dying because people won't protect them. In a coordinated environment, that literally never happens. They just take more map control. Like, I'm gonna draw the map. Like the middle line is where the towers are, and then once they take all of your team's turrets, they're just gonna walk up to here. And so that's their map control, and they keep shoving waves. They keep shoving waves. They keep shoving waves. They're just going to keep staying by their, like, lanes and shoving waves and just forcing you to play inside your base, take all of your jungle, and, like, you can't do anything. which is the nature of MOBAs. That's how they um, are. But it is a little bit boring when like you go to draft and you see Hydra Nation got all these great characters. Like they're a one-layer team because they are so good. But it's a little bit boring when it's like, I know what's gonna happen. They're gonna win every lane and then just stomp the team because they have a better mid-game composition. So the meta was a little lackluster. It could be better. But you really, the thing is, you don't really pick metas in games like this. They kind of form by themselves. So this is what we are in. It might not even be the best meta. It's just what is the most prevalent right now. And then another thing I wanted to talk about was just lack of interest. I don't know. I think this is a really interesting point to make just because, at least from my perspective, like, I enjoy watching tournaments of Deadlock more than, like, anything else. Like, when Deathy streams a tournament, it's some of the best, rawest form of Deadlock you can get. Like, it's, like, hearing the comms and, like, hearing people try their absolute hardest at this game and, like, seeing it at the, truly at the highest level is extremely intriguing to me, and I know I'm not alone in that thinking. But I don't know, if these people that were putting these tournaments on were seeing better viewership and we're seeing more, I think one of the biggest problems is that people like Deathy, like Seagull, they are they're not co-streaming, they're just streaming the stream, or like they'll stream the tournament, and they have more viewers than the tournament itself. And like, the tournament's going to put more money into the tournament and make the prize pools bigger if they have more viewers. Just like, I don't know, people would always rather sit down and watch one like an actual gamer talk about the tournament, talk about what's happening, than like commentators who aren't like real gamers. Like, I don't know, they could be gamers, but like you guys understand what I'm saying. Like, you would much rather watch someone that you watch regularly stream the tournament than you would watch these random two people that are like, it's overproduced. It's a little bit overproduced. Like, a lot of this stuff would highly benefit from being a little bit more bare bones and feel more like personal. But like, I don't know, I do think they did a good job, especially actually Fight Night did a really good job. They had good segments of commentary. I just never really the commentary sometimes. One of the biggest things with the commentary is that they're like behind from what's happening on the screen. So like, you'll see something crazy happen, and then 3 seconds later the commentators will address what just happened. Like, oh, so like they're just behind. Like, they're not actually watching like what I'm watching right now. And so like, it makes you think it's delayed responses. Like, I want to hear them go crazy when something crazy happens, the second it happens, the moment they see it, the moment I see it. It shouldn't be a couple seconds after, which, that's just how it is. And I think, I don't know. Actually, I don't know why that is. It's probably something that they can't change, but it's not fun for viewer interaction. And that's one of the biggest things with streaming, is viewer interaction is really important. And one thing I do think a lot of these streamers like Seagull and Deathy get wrong is like, they'll sit for 10 minutes while they're like going to the next match. Like, load up a 1v1, like throw a viewer in a 1v1, like let's do some viewer 1v1s. Like you can just quit once the tournament's starting. You can just quit, but like, you can keep your community just so much more engaged into the tournament. Not into the tournament, because that's not the tournament, but like, you get what I'm saying. Like, it's into your stream. Like, I'm watching the stream. It's like, all right, the next game's in 15 minutes. I'm gonna go do something else. Like, I'm not gonna stay watching your stream. But that's my own personal critique. That has nothing to do with tournaments. That's a critique of streamers. And then lastly, I kind of just want to talk about where I think tournaments are going to be in the near future. And like, I do think we're in a little bit of a dead period because it's been Christmas, New Year's. It's a lot of break. People, like the people that create tournaments and the people that stream the game, they view it as work, and like, this is their, if you play this game at the highest level, it's like a job. Like, you're scrimming every day. Like, it's a lot of work. And so it's a little bit of a break for them, I think, as of right now. And I think hopefully in 2 weeks from now, like the first week of January, we're gonna go back to tournaments, because I'm missing them. I enjoyed watching them. I thought they were entertaining, and I think it's what this game is missing right now. It's in a very weird limbo state of like, people were complaining that the game was getting too many updates and they were changing too much stuff, but like, oh my god, it feels stale. It feels stale. I've played on the same patch for a month. Like, I can't do it anymore. Get me out. Get me out. But, ugh. That's what I want to talk about tournaments. Nothing too crazy, just kind of my thoughts on it. So let me know what you think in the comments.